To the school board meeting, Monday, May 17th, 2021, 7:45 p.m. Could everyone please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Baker.
Here.
Mrs. Bream.
Here.
Mr. Francis. Mr. Hoff. Mr. Hoover.
Here.
Mrs. Irwin Adams.
Here.
Mr. Johnston. Mr. Cruz. Dr. Malloy.
Here.
Thank you. We did have an executive session this evening at 6 o'clock for reasons of personnel. Hearing from citizens. If anyone would like to address the board, if they could step up to the microphone and state their name and where they are from.
This on. Heidi McCorkle from Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Can we have them?
Good evening. I'd like to.
Ma'am, it's
Yeah.
hard to hear.
Can do.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to address the board concerning the proposal to amend the administrative support compensation plan. As you know, approving this amendment will give all employees equal severance pay. I need to put my glasses on. Severance rate, and will not single out 44 employees that were affected by this plan. I believe it was an error at some time when the plans were written, as there would be no reason to discount employees, 44 employees out of hundreds, and was never corrected until the last school board meeting. In my case, I have given the district over 40 years of service, never worrying about the time of the clock, but just to make sure the necessary work was completed. My evaluations prove that I have given the district more than 100%, and I'll always go above and beyond. I hope that the board votes to amend this amendment, which would be fair to all employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Okay, we're going to move on. Can I get a motion and a second for minutes? The 4/19 regular board meeting, 4/26 special board meeting, May 3rd Cal minutes, and May 6th special board meeting. Could I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay, any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on, construction change orders. Can I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay, comments?
Yes, I have a comment on change order 381. Was that some reason that wasn't put into the project fund? And that was added on?
When they originally designed the IM field, they expected the slope to be much steeper and to be very difficult to mow. When they actually built the field, the way the grade worked out, it's very gradual, and they'll be able to put grass on it instead. So the upgrade to sod was recommended.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Finance. Pardon? Good, okay. Moving on to finance. List of payments. Financial reports. PSBA membership. Honorarium. Can I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions?
Yeah, I have a problem with the PSBA membership. They haven't done anything for us. You know, every district passed the cyber charter, and I haven't seen them do anything. Is there anything being done by PSBA on this matter? You know what cyber charter is costing school districts, and we haven't had a thing from PSBA.
PSBA has been setting up several times for all of the superintendents to be meeting with the with our legislator and our senators. So they have been running advocacy on this and pushing for the changes. The issue with the cyber is just, quite frankly, we're at an impasse with the Senate and some of the Republicans in the legislature that they're just standing in the way of it.
But I haven't seen a House bill or a Senate bill against cyber charter, and I'm still seeing where it's at. It's funny that every school district in Pennsylvania voted to do this amendment for the cyber charter, and nothing's happening. I think it's very frustrating.
I do know that Jesse Topper put a bill forth, which does have some cyber charter relief in it. I don't have the specifics of it, but that was just last week.
I've got a question. Do they know, do we know, or do we have access to, do any of our legislators in Harrisburg, are any of them getting money from a lobby that supports these cyber schools?
Our legislators, to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
I have a question about letter D. Is this the same honorarium? So this is the detail that I asked for at that meeting.
Yes, I apologize. So we had an incorrect honorarium request at the previous meeting that was rectified. It was clarified that night, and it's now up for proper vote.
So this is not an additional, this is
It's
just
not
what's the correct
additional, it's the
name and
original.
details.
Yes, the young man is being requested an honorarium from the Lionier Club for choreography work that he did for their competition team dances.
Thank you.
Any others? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No on PSBA.
You're no on the, okay. Motion passes. Moving on to education. Pennsylvania Mountain Service AmeriCorps, volunteer approval. Adult education, Blair, PY21 operating budget. Contractual service agreement for adult education. Elementary ACA positions. Ecumenical Conference 21-22. Revised AAHS summer school proposal. Keystone graduation requirement waiver for 2021. Cooperative agreement with Mount Aloysius College for dual enrollment. Summer school staff. Donors choose grant. Elementary field trips and COVID grants. Can I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Any conversation or questions on any of these?
I have a question. The Keystone graduation requirement, is that going to be a waiver that we do every year for this group of?
As of right now, there's a graduation requirement at the state level beginning in 2023. Both last year and this year, we requested for the graduating classes a waiver because of testing not occurring last year. So the way that it worked last year, if you passed the course, the trigger course, the state gave you proficiency on that. In 2023, the new graduation requirements and pathways to graduation will go into effect for our current cohort, which is in 10th grade. So we are looking at multiple ways for students to achieve graduation requirements at the state level. So we were asking for the waiver for this year due to the fact that Keystone exams we did give winter Keystone as an option to our students, and we are currently giving the spring Keystone exams. So any student that was in a trigger course last year, so if they were in biology, algebra 1, or English 10, if they passed the course, they were given a waiver for proficiency on that exam. Now, they had the option of taking the exam this year if they chose to. We did not have many students that opted to do so. But moving forward, currently that's a board policy. It's a graduation requirement locally. It will not be a state requirement until 2023.
I have a question about letter I, and I feel like Yogi Berra because this is deja vu all over again. I remember this last year. So Mount Aloysius is asking us to actively promote dual enrollment, consider visits, display their materials, poster, pennants. I'm pretty sure unless something has changed that is against the policies. Has that changed? Because last year we asked them to pull that language because it does give them an advantage to advertise their college in the classrooms, which we've never done in any of the buildings.
We had our solicitor review this, and there are some recommendations for changes. So this is on for pending final solicitor approval. That particular piece, it was language pertaining to our ability to get out of the agreement and the 3-month language as opposed to 90 days. Let me review that again. But once again, this is pending final solicitor approval. One thing I'll tell you, we actually met with them today. Very excited about a partnership that we have with them. We're going to be able to offer year 1 of an associate's degree through dual enrollment, primarily focused in computer science, moving forward here in the next year or so. So we are building a pretty strong partnership with them, but the specifics that you had asked about, we will review, and this will not be approved until final solicitor approval.
Will the board be informed as to what the solicitor decides in the modifications? Because
We can
I would
forward-
really question if that language stays. I think I'd want to have a little more discussion about what that does for other colleges.
Your specific concerns are 1, 2, and 3? Under
I would look at that
expectations.
whole section that says additional expectations for the high school.
Right.
Because that was the specific things that were removed last year because of the concern, and now they're back again. So, and like I said, I keep bringing up the past. I worked in the high school for 20 years, and the rule always was you can't bring in college reps. You can't advertise the schools in the classes. And I get that it's dual enrollment, but aren't we paying tuition, which I know is reduced. I get that.
Right.
But we're
Students are
paying tuition, so we're the customer.
Mhm.
You know, that would be like my kid goes to Penn State and Penn State says you have to wear a Penn State shirt. And he does, but they can't do that.
Correct. I'll work with Mr. Beard, and we can get the language clarified, and if you want, we can just pull it and represent in June. It's not.
I'd feel more comfortable with that because I'd like to see how it ends up. Because that sets a precedent, I think, for other schools.
Let's pull it. Can we pull that?
So we are pulling that until June then. I is pulled.
Good catch, Mike.
To eliminate,
I think that was Mr. Hoover.
Item I as my forward, and I'll move it over to Frank.
And I'll do the same.
okay, then motion's pulled. I have a question on the summer school proposal. I just have a question. I think I
Yes.
understand it. The cost for district credit recovery courses is free for 2021 summer session. Cost for district enrichment course is $75 for 2021. So if they are currently not passing a course, they can take it in summer school and there's no charge.
Correct.
If they
Credit
just want
recoveries.
an additional course for some reason to help with their credits or whatever, there's a charge. for
So our enrichment courses are health and physical education, and a lot of our students opt to take those courses in the summer to free up space for additional electives,
that. Okay.
particularly music and other electives, high interest electives during their schedule. So because they are our choice, and it's basically an advantage to them to be able to provide some flexibility in scheduling. We are charging for those courses. No remedial courses or credit recovery courses are being charged for. The other amendment here is that because of the numbers we are anticipating, we are not going to entertain outside district students for this year.
So we're having good participation.
Oh, it's going to be booming. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of kids in summer school.
Well, that's great because it gives them the opportunity to get caught up on anything that they lost through the year.
Well, we're actually giving them the opportunity, even if they don't need the course,
Mhm.
if they just want to take the course, if they feel like that they didn't get enough out of it, we are giving them that option. Now, that's required an increase in our staff numbers to be able to accommodate that. But we are providing both a virtual and an in-person option for two different sessions
Very
for our
good.
summer school.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
I just had a question about letter E. Is that going to affect like class sizes in one, like a particular elementary or, I mean, when you're,
What we've looked at is the enrollments. If enrollments were like in the low teens, that's where those teachers came from. It will not send those classes over 2022. It's not. What we're doing is we're literally shifting teachers where the numbers have fallen. We're shifting those teachers into the ACA to cover the increased enrollment in ACA.
That we're anticipating, and we'll know for sure by the end of this week, the number of students that are currently virtual. Of those students, how many are going to be choosing our cyber option as their virtual option moving into next year, in addition to our current ACA numbers? That reduction in the number of students attending in person necessitates the need for full-time ACA instructors that will pull from our existing staff where we can reduce classes in particular buildings. There's no additional staff. It's,
And will those teachers be pulled from people currently cyber teaching or virtual teaching or no?
It depends. First thing we'll do is we will open it up. We'll see if we have any volunteers. We have volunteers, obviously, we're gonna give those people the option to do the AC and then we'll do transfers to fill those positions. It's kind of ripple effect. The other option will be if no one volunteers, then we're gonna look at our list that who has the ability. We will ask, and if not, then we go to the seniority list and we go from there.
current ACA and virtual teachers. So we're not anticipating filling those two with one teachers who want to do that. It will realize a significant reduction in the number of hourly teachers that we need. We will still need hourly teachers to supplement the 2 full-time, but it will realize a reduction in that number, realizing the financial savings as well to the program.
Any more? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Personnel, can I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Okay. Any comments, questions?
Oh, yes, I have one. Tamara, we're going to miss you. Thank you for your service. Very much. Thank you.
I want to add to that. I've known Tamara since I came here 10 years ago, and she does an excellent job, and we appreciate it. Any other comments, questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Student services. Donation Student Assistant Program 21-22. Counseling agreement with La Roca Counseling 21-22. Impact Counseling 21-22. Can I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Business operations. Tax assessment appeal. Capital reserve list of payments. Capital projects list of payments. Repository bids. Depository accounts. Cooperative purchasing agreements, and donation. Can I have a motion and a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions? On our repository bids, I know these properties go for a very low dollar amount. Does anyone ever follow through to see if they do really come back on the tax rolls at a more realistic tax amount?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. The issue, I do know that when it makes it to the repository, the house is either ready to be torn down or otherwise razed. Very seldom are these homes turned over or regenerated into a livable space. Because to get to the repository, they have to go through sheriff's sale and through all the other aspects of the process. When a house is foreclosed on or it goes to sheriff's sale, usually it's been abandoned or it's in a very dilapidated state. Then you're taking another year or two further to get it to a repository level. Usually people will purchase these to make a side yard, et cetera, to expand around their house.
So really, they don't come back on the tax rolls?
Usually they do not.
Okay. Any other
Yeah,
questions?
just one. What was our net loss on the tax assessment appeals?
Just over 54,000.
Primarily driven by the low value.
So the net effect of that is it lowers the value of a mill.
Yeah, it was formerly at 36 million, and it takes it down to 26 million. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Facilities and maintenance. Facilities Committee recommendations. Can I have a motion and a second?
Second,
And Eric's not here to speak to this tonight. Okay, all in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is there any old business? Okay, new business. 21-22 AASD proposed final general fund budget. Greater Career and Technology budget 21-22. Premium share cost. Amendment to 2021 comp plan. HRA risk reduction requirement. External reservation Logan Elementary. And Atlantic broadband contract. Can I have a motion and a second?
Second,
Okay, any comments, questions?
I think earlier we heard from Heidi McCorkle, and having worked with Heidi, certainly can verify that she's hardworking and always did an excellent job, as did Pam and Todd Little. So I think this amendment, if approved, will certainly right this for these employees, because they certainly deserve it.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Any committee reports? Anyone have anything to add?
Yes, sir. There will be this Wednesday at 5 o'clock an athletic meeting in-house. We're going to talk about mansion.
And what date is that again, Ron?
That's this Wednesday at 5 o'clock,
Wednesday at 5, okay.
and the public is invited.
Okay.
It's gonna,
Anybody else?
one quick question. Wednesday, 5 o'clock, the room again, we're gonna do right here?
Yes.
It'd be B120.
Yes.
Got it.
Sharon, before we wrap up,
Can-
can you let me know before we're done?
Why, let you know before we're done?
Well, yeah, I'd like to ask a couple questions before we're done.
Okay, well, we're going to have the board, the superintendent's report.
Want to thank everybody. We did have a meeting today, the pre-construction meeting on the field for Mansion Park. Hopefully they're going to start mobilization the day after graduation. So hopefully graduation is going to be on the 11th, and they're going to start bringing stuff in on the 12th. And they'll start moving on the project. And the key there is they want to have the entire project completed by August 6th. The tennis courts, we are making the WG Land Corporation we're making sure they know when our last tennis event is so that they can start and do the resurfacing. Right now they're scheduled for July, but they should be able to get in there in June. We're gonna make sure they have that that's available to them so they can make that, they can make it fit the schedule and get it done. So those pieces are coming together. I want to thank the teachers. I want to thank the administrators. We've got about 4 weeks of school left now, and everything's moving reasonably smooth. I would like to say this so everyone understands. We are not changing our mask mandates for the last 4 weeks. We are keeping everything the way it is. For the students, no students will be fully immunized by the end of school. We did do an event in the high school last week with Thompson's Pharmacy. We have another event scheduled for next week with UPMC. And there are a lot of places where actually students 12 and up can get vaccinated. I know Rite Aid, I know Walgreens. There's a lot of vaccines available at this point, and we encourage our students who are age eligible to get vaccinated. And looking forward to having an outside graduation on the 11th.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So there was a mansion meeting recently? Is that-
We had the contractors came in today. They're working on coordination because you have the guy who's doing the track, and then you have the guy who's doing the field, and they have to coordinate. And actually, the two companies will be working together, like on the E-layer and that kind of thing. Is it Tony? What's Tony's last name? Is it ATT? Tony Cunningham from ATT. His company is working with Tim from TDK Sports for the E-layer, any E-layer repairs. So needed to coordinate that. And we wanted to have that first introductory meeting to make sure that everybody was on the same page as to what our next steps are. And then we'll be meeting every 2 weeks throughout the summer as we move through the process.
You know, I like to have been invited to that, make sure it's done right. My opinion, it wasn't completely done right the last time, 13 years ago.
For Ron, I'll make sure you're getting an invite.
Yeah, and you know, like anybody else on the board.
No, I can send it out.
Anyone else?
At your desks or at your tables is the GACTC voting ballot, if you wouldn't mind marking it and signing it, please. So I
Okay,
can
if
give it back.
everyone could mark and sign them and give them to Camilla before they leave, please. Thank you. Okay, other comments? Anything from employee union? Middle management? Solicitor?
The only thing that's out there fast tracking, it really is in the realm of Michelle Sanders. It has to do with Senate Bill 664 that came flying out of the Senate and went off to the House. And basically it's to address the spinoff of learning loss. What it's intended to do is state that anybody that generally turns age 21 during the 2021 school year, they would naturally get a graduation NORP and what they call a summary of academic performance. They would naturally be exited from education. This bill is designed to provide an additional year of education for any student that would have reached 21 at the end of this year to extend through 21-22. It's moving pretty fast. Not all the logistics are there, but in essence, they're just saying to you, make it happen and make it work. We'll work out the details as we fly the plane further. But it is fast tracking. You may see that get approved here unless the governor vetoes it. So it's just something that will just impact a handful of students in each school district. That's it.
Thank you. That would be it. Do you want to speak, Rick?
Yes. I know I'm like a dog with a bone on this one, but can I get the current number of SCAs we have? And I was told I was going to get a number. I haven't received that yet. How many total do we have? How many are we down? So forth.
We currently have 116 SEAs. We need about 20 more.
All right. And how long we've been trying to fill those ongoing?
Yes, we just had interviews about 2 weeks ago for 2 candidates. As soon as candidates apply, we're trying to interview them as quickly as we can. So we did interview 2 candidates. One did not show up and the second one decided they didn't want the position. So if you know of people out there that would be interested, please have them apply. We're interviewing them as quickly as they come in.
Have we lost any in the past couple of weeks?
I know that there is one on there that was a resignation at this board meeting.
Okay. And I kind of talked about this with Brad last time, but I sat down in the past couple of weeks. I've sat down with teachers and SEAs, and they only verify what Brad said. The absolute importance of SEAs in our school district cannot be over exaggerated. Without them in the classroom, the teacher's job is much more hard. And we all know that. And I've sat down with teachers along with the SEAs that work in their classrooms. They are invaluable. I know they're not doing this because the pay. They're certainly not doing that. And a lot of these people who are doing it absolutely have children that are special needs themselves and are doing it out of a good place. And just please stay on top of that. And let's please recognize the SEAs for the job they do in helping to educate our students along with the teachers, because the teachers tell me without the SEAs, their job would be impossible. So please, a big kudos again to SEAs. They are invaluable to this district. So I'm going to stay on top of this for a while, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Thank you.
If I can add one thing, Tamara, our job fair is when? May 26th, which is next week, we're doing a job fair. Again, we're hunting for part-time custodians, substitute custodians. We're hunting for SEAs. We're basically every position you can imagine that we have. We're actively pursuing candidates. There is a limited candidate pool right now, and all businesses, including school districts, are experiencing the employee crunch, which is really good, because that means a lot of people, anybody who wants to work is working, but at the same time, it's very difficult for those who are, as we're hunting to fill these positions, it's really being a chore to make it happen. But we're being as aggressive as we possibly can to pull that off.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Real quick, Sharon, I thought we'd be remorse if we didn't note the passing of Mr. Tom Foose, former principal at the Dalton Area School District. A great administrator and a well-liked principal. So anything else? Anybody say anything about Tom for me?
I worked with Tom for many years, and Tom was a great principal and a great person. And I know he's sadly missed by his family, and certainly a loss to this community. So Tom was a great man.
And real quick, I hate to say, but last meeting we didn't recognize the cast of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and what a great show that was. And there was a lot of talent on that stage. And this past week with our bands at junior high and senior ninth and senior band did a pretty nice job. They're pretty good. A lot of talent. Boy, oh boy, there's so much talent in this place. And I know we're not the only school district, but I bet you for our size, we have more talent than any other school district in the state.
Thank you, Dave.
Ron? Yes, I'd like to thank the City of Altoona City Council, the mayor. I'd like to thank Dave Francis, Dr. P. Prospect Pool is going to be open. They got the second coat of paint on up there. There's some buttons pushed. It's going to happen. They're going to have the lifeguard. So thanks everyone for your support in that. And it looked kind of gloomy. I know last year it didn't look good at all, and in the spring, but had some people step up to the plate, and thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.